What's up guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm a little bit late in releasing the video of the Zhiyun X100 RGB, but that's okay because most of you guys know that the way I showcase the products here, I'm gonna show you guys things that you didn't see in your other previous videos in meticulous detail. Absolutely everything they want to know about this light. I took the X100 RGB on location to show you guys how this light actually look like in real world. So I'm going to tell you in advance everything that I'm going to be showing you guys here. You know, shots of the X100 being outdoors. Can you power this light using a V-mount? What is the limitations of the USBC powering the light? I'm also going to show you the difference between this Fresnel that's newly released, or if you should still use the reflector, and what the disadvantages and advantages are between the both of them. And of course, I'm going to show you everything that you need to know regarding this newly designed projection light. I had a couple issues with it and then I actually fixed it, so I'm going to show you what happened. And also I'm going to be showing you some tips how to never ever break the softbox or any softbox. So with all that said here, stay tuned, don't go nowhere, I'll be right back. One important thing that you guys want to see is how these lights actually perform in the real world, right? So I actually went to a steel stacks. It's a famous place in Bethlehem. You probably heard about it. I chose the location because it is a beautiful place and a lot of photographers, they go there. So I literally have 12 minutes because you usually need a permit to shoot there and to avoid any problems with security. So this little time that I had there, I think I actually accomplished something decent to show you guys here. I took some stills and some video, so I put the X100 RGB as a key light and an X60 in the background, as you can see on the fence here with the light behind the model. So it looks pretty nice, and all these little lights, they can actually do so much on location that is very convenient, and this is the main selling point of the Zhiyun lights. Convenience, portability, power, and tiny little size. Now, if I got these shots, literally spending 2 minutes of each one, imagine if you actually have time to craft your scene and, you know, take your time to light everything. Imagine what these lights can do. And the usual disclaimer, the stuff that I gotta say here. So the year 2025, I do charge a fee to showcase whatever product that it's in here. It's nothing related to the product itself. It's just to compensate the time it takes for me to set up all this lighting. And my time is very limited on YouTube. This is why I charge a fee now. So it doesn't matter if they send me this light for me to test here, or if I bought a light, if this video is actually sponsored or not, if they paid me a fee or not. It doesn't alter the way I review the product. For example, the pros and cons, if there is something that I don't like about this light, my agreement with these companies, I can say whatever I want, and there's no preview of any kind, and they watch the video at the same time you guys are watching. Now for Zhiyun is an exception for the fee because I do a number of other collaborations with them besides YouTube. So in 2024, I was one of the exhibitors for Zhiyun in Las Vegas, along with the B&H Expo in 2023. So I'm gonna do a number of collaborations with Zhiyun. And in Las Vegas 2024, I actually had the chance to meet, briefly Ken Mackey, which is a very nice guy. He's a filmmaker, and the fact that they actually collaborated with the Zhiyun to make a lot of cool things happen. For example, the Fresnel lens, which is definitely one of the favorite things now that I'm gonna use on my X100 RGB, which by the way, this Fresnel will fit any X light, the X60, the X60 RGB, the X100, the X100 RGB is the same exact mount. The X100 RGB that I received, this is the Pro Kit. This is what you get. You get this brown bag, which has Ken Mackey's signature, and it also comes with the softbox inside the big box. Includes a grid as well. I recommend that you don't throw this little cellophane plastic away because avoiding, pet hair or dust or anything that comes in contact with the grid. The best place to put this grid is when you slide the softbox on the side here. In the front, there are 2 little straps that you can easily attach the softbox so you carry everything at once. It was great when I actually took this light on the shoot that all I need to carry is the bag itself and the softbox is attached here. While the softbox is still attached, you can easily open the bag. It does not interfere with the softbox being in the way. So the first thing you're going to find is the USB to USB-C cable. This is designed to charge the battery. You can also use this to temporarily power the light as an emergency. Keep in mind this is a regular USB-C charging cable. It will not provide the full 100 watt power this light needs. So if you decide to use this cable as an emergency, it will provide about 60 watts of power powering this light via USB PD. Next is the battery. It has a slight different paint finish. And it's the same battery, 55 some watt hours. It's the same exact battery other than Ken Mackey's signature and different color. Next we have the little compartment, and it comes with the Fresnel and the bar door attached together. So to put it back, Fresnel first, barn door last, put it back here and put that back here. And lastly, you have the included 24-volt power supply, which features a 2.1mm internal DC barrel size and also a mesh that you can easily hang on a stand. And it comes with a hole so you can actually put the power cord, which is right here. This is about 10 feet long, which most cases you're not going to need an extension cord depending on the room size that you work with this light. This video I'm going to be cutting to the chase, showing you guys absolutely only the stuff that you guys need to know. I'm not going to be wasting your time describing how these buttons are, what they do, because this is not the first time that you've seen this light here, right? So the only difference between the X100 and the X100 RGB, of course, that they introduced RGB here, plus you have the effects, everything that the X60 has. This one has, which again, the only difference is this one is 100 watts and the X60 is 60 watts. Regarding the specifications of the X100 RGB, instead of me talking here, which you can easily forget what I'm saying, I'm going to be placing several screenshots right here so you can actually pause the video at your convenience and take a look at everything they want to know. So I'm actually very happy that Zhiyun is actually including RGB on the entire X family, the X60, the X100 RGB. And I'm the heavyweight type of guy for my video productions because the stuff that they make me do there, especially putting a subject, you know, who is in front of a window, a huge panel. So 100 watts is not going to fight the sun. So every time I have a production, definitely I take the RGBs and everything, the little X100 for everything else there. But the main thing with the actual CEO or actor stocking, I need 500 watts to even 1,000 watts. So I would love to see Zhiyun next making RGB for these big boys right here. I would be so happy about that. And I'm sure you guys are already familiar with the X60. And by the way, I'm actually borrowing the Fresnel that comes with this Pro kit here to use also with the X60. So it fits because it has a standard Zhiyun ZY mount, so it's the same exact mount, so it fits here, it fits here, and of course this will also fit the X60, but you're gonna need a lot of power, so don't even bother using this with the X60 because you will need at least 100 watts of power. Because if you're not using a grid and having the little projector displaying something in the background, you can easily wash that out. There are two colors, they have some type of a difficulty in being bright enough to be projected on the wall. As you can see, the red and magenta, while the other colors, they have no problem being output from this device. So everybody on YouTube is actually very excited about this Fresnel, and so am I. This is actually one of the coolest accessories for you to use with the X100 RGB, the X100 or X60, whatever one they use, right? Fresnel lenses are great for increasing the output on this light or any other light, and this is when the barn door again comes in handy, because if the camera happens to be here, and then all you have to do is to close the barn door a little bit, and then it avoids light flare being spilled into your camera lens. RGB lights are not only great for providing color in the background and other effects, but they also feature green magenta correction, just in case you want to use the previous X100. If this light happens to be inclined towards the magenta or the green, you can easily correct it here. Since the very introduction of the X100, I've been asking Zhiyun for a long time, hey, can you guys please make some sort of accessory for, you know, the reflector? Because as you know, it comes with the diffuser, right? But sometimes we need to kind of tunnel the light. I was asking them to make a black silicone, like a flat grid, something made of silicone that attaches right here. As you can see, there are two types of reflectors now. The X60 has a more matte finish looking reflector, and the X100, the original, has a very mirrorish shine thing here, right? So this current grid with this currently designed reflector, the grid is not going to work well. I mean, it does tunnel the light, avoid light spill, but it projects some weird artifacts on the wall there. I think they will have to make a smooth reflector without a mirror. Same thing, they can also engineer a proper grid for the reflector that will perfectly channel the light to what you want, because this spills lights everywhere, and sometimes, especially for hair light, if I put an X60 on the ceiling here, I want control. So this is what I want Zhiyun to make next. As you can see, a grid. When you see my skin there in the background, the light goes through, and then when you do that, no light. And again, so you guys are already familiar with the X100 that comes with a ton of yellow stickers with warning with heat and everything, and that makes sense because this is a hard drive size light, and the way you hold it here like a camera is very easy for you to accidentally put your finger here. Another thing that can happen, you can easily set this on the table, maybe the phone rang or something like that, you will actually quickly get up to answer the phone, and there you go, your light is going to be burned on the table and then fire. This is why they put the stickers here. And instead of putting a plastic LED protector, these lights, they come with a silicone-made cap, because how easy it is for you to forget to power on the light at 100%, and this thing is here for a good 20-30 minutes, right? So silicone can actually withstand temperature as high as 450 degrees Fahrenheit easily. So if you forget this here, nothing's gonna happen. Regarding heat, one thing to be careful and to keep in mind, when you use the projection accessory on this LED, that easily reaches 450 degrees Fahrenheit. This part of the projection gets very hot, close to boiling water. So it's about 190 degrees that I register with my laser thermometer. This part over here is easy to touch. It's about 110 degrees, that's okay. But you still need help with the other hand to actually detach this from the light. So I recommend that you use gloves like most gaffers should be using on set. I highly recommend that you use gloves. So everything that I bring on set is black, but I actually like the fact that they actually chose a different color to match a Ken Mackey style. So it took me a little bit to get used to it, but you know, looking at it twice, I actually like a lot. The green here is pretty cool, and this little detail with the leather, the brown and the green, I like it. All right, so the things they should know about this light. Is the fan gonna make any noise? Nope, the same way. This light is super quiet, the same exact thing here. The power buttons, the way you reset the Bluetooth, you press the button here 3 times, you reset the Bluetooth, and it's the same exact thing as this light is. Again, other than RGB, effects, and a ton of other things that you're gonna find here. So cycling through this light, of course you're gonna see the menu, the Bluetooth reset and everything else. You also have the CCT, HSI, and then RGB, and then music mode, effects, and back to the menu. Every single time, I guess I try not to say X100 Mark II instead of the X100 RGB, but anyway. So the X100 original and this one here, right now I'm on music mode. And just so you know, the microphone or the software that's in this light is far more accurate and more responsive than the X100. So as I speak here, or as I clap, I'm gonna show you guys a little demonstration. So when you clap, so as you can see, this one here doesn't miss a beat, right? And this one here occasionally does. The G200 actually is very accurate, just as accurate as this light here. It depends on each model, but this one here is very accurate, as you can see. Also, since they have the X100 and the X100 RGB, guess what I'm going to show you guys here, which is something that you guys definitely want to know. Is this brighter than this one here? Because this one is a bicolor light and this one is an RGB. So when you actually have to share the cop chip with more LED diodes other than CCT, maybe this light is going to be slightly less bright on CCT than this light here. So I'm going to put that to the test as well. So I'm using a light meter. The ISO doesn't matter. And the distance doesn't matter as long as you keep this test consistent. For example, I set the light meter to ISO 100, for example. All I'm doing is to aim exactly from the center of the light, and I have this light stand here to stop. So I'm not going to be even going 1 inch of a mistake here. So I have the light meter right here. Right now it says exactly F4. I actually put the light stand, a little bit closer, a little bit further, just to give you a round number here. So right now, again, F4 on a dot. I don't know if you can see this here, but it's F4. Now I'm going to be placing the X100 right here and see what happens. The same exact thing at full 100%, CCT at 5500 degrees Kelvin. Now the same test, right now I'm at F4, and there you go. Full 100%, same exact settings, and it's reading F4.2. So it's 0.2 f-stops difference, which means if you want to get the X100 RGB, worried about this X100 predecessor being considerably more powerful or brighter, no, it's not. It's 0.2 f-stops difference. I'm going to be confirming this again. Same settings, yep, F4.2. 0.2 stop difference, even though they have 40% of the RGBs sharing the same COB chip here. So pretty cool. I was actually surprised. So the runtime between the X100 and the X100 RGB is technically the same, is 30-ish minutes at full power on CCT at 5500 degrees Kelvin, and the same exact thing with this light here. So this battery here is about 58-ish watt-hour battery, right? So what is a watt-hour? Is the time that it takes by the hour to supply power to the light, for example. This is a 100-watt light, and this is a 58 watt-hour battery. So this is why you have a 30-ish minute runtime with the battery connected to 100%. And if you lower the intensity to 50%, and then you can actually run approximately over an hour or so, 1 hour 10 minutes with this battery. And this is the value in this channel that I show here that most people will not show you. For example, something that you probably want to know: can you power this light, the X100 RGB, using a V-mount battery? The answer is no, because you need a 24 volt power supply, which comes with the light here. And D-tap usually delivers a maximum of 16 volts. The light is on, it powers on, as you can see the display is on here, but when you try to do the intensity, nothing happens because it says on the display the voltmeter is under 18 volts. So there you go. You cannot use a V-mount battery on the D-tap to power this light. Just in case you want to run the battery in a straight connection with the light here without actually plugging it in on the side, it will work. Notice that you have a maximum output of 30 watts and you cannot exceed 30 watts. So you have to plug in the battery using the proper connection on the side of the light. If you want to power this light to 100% using the USB-C PD, which is power delivery, you will need a power supply or a charger like this here. Mine is actually very fancy. It's got a display here that tells me the wattage, the voltage, the amperage, everything else. And also keep in mind that you need a 100 watt capable USB PD cable. This one here is well above 100 watts. This cable can provide up to 240 watts. So it will be no problem powering on the light. So 0%, 50, 100 says here PD 100. Great. Some cables, they will also limit the current here. So this cable here, for example, that comes with the Zhiyun to charge your battery, I think if I remember correctly, it will let you go a maximum of 60 watts or 30 watts. I think it's 60 watts, this cable here. So keep in mind again, you need a 100 watt cable or 100 watt minimum capable power supply. Now let's say that you are in an emergency situation and all your Zhiyun batteries died, so you're far away from home, you forgot your charger, whatever, right? So, and even if you don't have a big brick like this here that provides 100 watts, and somehow you need to power this back on to finish a shoot, right? No problem. You can use your little iPhone, little cube USB PD charger, the USB-C, right? The only thing that's gonna happen, you're not gonna be able to reach 100%, but your little cube, little phone charger will let you at least crank up to 30 watts on this light, maybe 45 watts, depending on the rate of your charger. So if that's all you got, you can still power the light using the USB-C. Another thing that you might be curious to know, can you actually use your V-mount batteries that features the USB-C PD out to power the X100 RGB, the X100, or even the X60, which is only 60 watts? The answer is no, you cannot. This batteries here, they have the USB PD out, so I'm gonna plug this in here, and then you see the Zhiyun logo coming up, and then it quits. So you cannot power these lights using any V-mount batteries, even if they have a USB-C out. Now another thing that is so important to mention here, because still everybody's afraid of purchasing these lights because of these batteries. The thing that happened was Zhiyun had a particular board installed in here, and the board was the culprit of the thing. That's what I think, because I actually opened these batteries up. So long story short, these batteries, they now work 100%. So when you buy these batteries, they will work and expect them to work. So you charge them, they will charge, the lights will come on here, not a problem. Just in case, on a freak of nature, one of these batteries here, they happen to crap out on you, simply save a receipt for proof of purchase and contact Zhiyun. They will replace the battery for you. One of my favorite languages happens to be Chinese, and I wish I spoke the thing fluently, and I know a tiny little bit of Chinese, and one of my customers from my studio, she happens to be from China, so she actually taught me how to pronounce the Zhiyun here. And in Chinese, if you want to ask a Chinese person, how do you pronounce this name? 这个名字这么发音. This is how they say it. So I have an actual native from China. I'm going to finally review to you guys how you actually say this, and also the symbols, what they mean. So how do you actually pronounce this?
Okay, so it pronounced Zhiyun, meaning smart cloud.
Awesome. There you go, guys. How do you say that again?
Zhiyun.
Zhiyun. Zhiyun.
Zhiyun.
Zhiyun. Another cool thing that I want to show you guys in this much detail, even though this little projector will fit on the X60 or any light that has a ZY bayonet mount, right? So you want at least 100 watts of power, because once you install this here, you're going to need a lot of power. So to achieve the maximum performance of this device, for example, if you are projecting this on a barn or a wall or a person's face or behind, whatever that is they want, make sure that you are using your key light or any other light that has a grid whatever it is they want to do, make sure this front light here does not hit the wall or whatever it is that you projected this light, because you don't want this to be washed out, because this can be easily washed out. This is only a 100 watt light and you're going to lose a lot of power because of the light tunneling through here, right? So usually I use lights like, you know, this strong here if you want some serious projection. But this device actually impressed me because it is actually very nice and it does the job. Now here's the part that I want to show you everything that you need to know about this projection light in a minuscule detail. For example, when I received this light the first time that I unpacked the light, it was very hard to actually, you know, maneuver these little tabs here because the light was actually very tight, right? So I actually was curious, does this thing unscrew? Yes, it does. This unscrew and the top part also unscrews. So what I did was I slightly loosened this here, because when you actually shutting the little doors here, whatever you want to call this thing here, sometimes I want a square or a line to be straight, right? So the way it was before, the tabs, they were like, you know, slightly on the side here, so there was no way that I could actually have a straight line straight on the wall, for example. All I have to do is to slightly loosen this here. Now you can actually rotate this slightly in case it is crooked and you want this absolutely in line, right? So simply, again, unscrew this top part partially. And the other thing here also unscrews in case you need to clean your lens, which also helpful. Because if you keep this thing dirty, I would actually recommend that you actually put this on a plastic bag and airtight seal it. So when you're ready to use, there's no humidity or dust coming in here. Because when you're actually using the actual gobos, you're going to eventually detect some dust there that you don't want to be projected on the wall. And they also come with this little cute booklet here that contains 10 gobos. A lot of people love the window. You know, I like the window too, but you know, it's actually being overused. I see every single video using that stuff. But the one that is my favorite happens to be this shape right here, which you can throw some very cool and useful patterns on the projector or whatever wall or whatever thing that you want to project this to. And also, this is magnetic, as you can see here. You can also adjust this way or the other side. And of course, you can also rotate it. Just so you know, to release this, there's a little tab here that you gotta gently press it, otherwise you won't be able to get this out of here. So before you break anything, make sure you press this and this easily comes out. And another thing, I discovered there is only one way to put this little gobo here. So again, to release, you wanna press this. The tab must be faced on the opposite direction, and then that's when it turns like this here. If you do it the opposite way, this is going to be stuck. So that's another detail that I want to show you guys. So this light comes with a dot on top and also a dot right here, just like when you replace lenses in a camera, right? So you just put the dot here. It easily installs, as you can see. And to remove, there's a little tab here. Gently do that and the thing is out. And of course, you can focus using this little focusing ring on the front here. But the thing is, when you use with the gobo, the focus range is going to be somewhere here. When you remove the gobo, and then you're going to have to focus more like this here in order for the circle to be sharp. And you don't need to be having it sharp all the time. You can also defocus, which also looks good, especially with the gobo here. You don't necessarily have to have the whole thing in focus all the time. And depending on the distance, the pattern is going to be very tiny. You will always have to adjust the focus. And as you move it away, you lose a little bit of light intensity and the pattern gets bigger. But again, when you don't have any gobo here, you need to focus this more far away like that until the ball is fully in focus. The unit that I received is the actual Pro Kit, which comes with the light itself, the bag, a softbox, barn door, and a Fresnel. And again, these barn doors, they do a very good job, especially in conjunction with the Fresnel. There's no right or wrong way to install the Fresnel here, but if you are going to want to install this perfectly symmetrical like this here, make sure the Zhiyun logo is facing up. So when you install the thing here, it's like that. If you go the other way, it's gonna be like this way here. Unless you want the Fresnel to be straight like that. And then of course you're gonna snap this because everything is magnetic as usual. And again, I believe Ken Mackey is also involved in the making of the Fresnel lens with the Zhiyun for in excess of 8 months. So, you know, I appreciate that. Very cool accessory. Thank you guys for doing this here, because in my opinion and many people's opinion, this is probably the best accessory that ever happened to the X100. The original X100, when you purchase the Pro Kit, it comes with that softbox that you guys are familiar with, the tiny tiny little softbox, which is actually very useful for hair lights especially, and it also comes with a grid, which I still recommend that you use the softbox, that little thing over here as well on the X100 RGB. Why not, depending on the project, right? So now they make the 40D, which is a 40 centimeter softbox, which of course comes with a grid, and it also has the same ZY mount as you can see here, so you can directly connect to the X100 or the X60 if you want. And the release tab is right here. Same way, this one has the same release tab. A lot of people tell me that I have a special touch for everything, especially handling things, and I believe that's true. So I'm gonna teach you guys next how to never ever break the softbox or even run the risk of breaking something here. So one thing that you never wanna do is to do this here. It works because there's no pressure, but as soon as pressure builds up here, you don't want to be doing it from over here. So you want to be holding this as close as possible, preferably on the holding the silver little tabs here. So you just hold it like that. When you are halfway, stop it, because pressure is being built here already. So what you want to do is to bend the softbox flat on the table or on your knee or something like that. What that's doing, you are minimizing the distance here, so the rods will get close together. So bend the softbox and then keep closing like that. It's a lot less pressure here, right? Now to disassemble or to undo this whole thing, especially when you guys are gonna be putting this up and down 100 times, this is when the wear and tear is gonna be prematurely happening. So how most people disconnect this thing here is by pressing this button and you hear this. So you don't wanna do that. So I'm gonna put this back here. What you want to do is to grab this as close as possible, preferably holding the silver tab. You're gonna lift this up. At the same time, you want to press the button, so lift it up. So you want to hear silence, not a click, click, click. This is like just a noise from the fabric. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this here. Like you don't want that. Press and lift it up. You want silence like this. If you do that, you will never going to break the softbox. I don't care if you do this 500 times a week. And of course, the softbox comes included with this bag. If you want to expand the compatibility with Bowens adapters, for example, to install a Zhiyun 90 centimeter softbox, you definitely need this here. Now don't forget that the light is now floating on that adapter. If you need to adjust the light, never grab it by the light. Only grab by the adapter so you don't cause stress on the light and break it. This is the Zhiyun 40D. It's also available as 60D and 90D modifiers. And the cool thing about this one here is that it features the same ZY mount, which you need no adapters. However, it is very important that you actually get this. I highly recommend that you purchase at least one kit that comes with this. If it doesn't, you can actually purchase this separately. The new version of this adapter, including reflectors, they have a dot that you can easily attach right here. There are two things that I don't like about this adapter, which they should actually work in changing, is the fact that the teeth here, they are too large, so you can either place the light this way or this way or this way. There's no in between. Sometimes you need just a tiny little adjustment, and this is not possible with this adapter. To solve this problem, there is an adapter from Godox that I really like. It has a little blue washer that has no teeth, so you can easily, precisely aim the light like 1 centimeter or less if you like. It will be very nice to see the next batch of adapters that they make by replacing from the teeth to the actual washer. I'm not sure if Zhiyun sells this screw separate, because every time I open the box, the screw has been completely unscrewed out of here. So what I do is to firmly tighten the screw to make sure you will not unscrew, because it is very easy to loosen this. Even when you're actually setting this up on a stand, you have to go a certain distance here, and if you screw a couple of times more, it might fall off your hand. So make sure you always tighten this all the way. And of course, as you notice, the X100 and the X100 RGB, it comes with 2 /20 threads. The reason for that is you can put this on a stand using the middle thread right here. So when you're using the battery, as you know, gravity is going to be tilting this way here, so you want to use this thread close to where the power supply goes. These lights here, they are pretty and they are also adorable and powerful, right? So if you are like me, picky as hell, the last thing they want to do as soon as you install the light stand on the light here, the first thing that's going to happen is you have a nasty scratch ring right here, right? So I have a PVC type of material here that I bought on Amazon. So on every single light stand, if you have like a pocket light RGB or something like this, or anything that you want to screw here that does not scratch your light, you want to install this little washer here. So when you screw the light in here and when you remove, it's absolutely intact. It's like I never used this light. So again, if you care about cosmetics like I do, You know, this is the lifesaver. So this light is brand new. Look at that, not a single scratch. I'm gonna give you a small tip in how to better connect this light into a light stand or any light that has a bottom 1/4 thread. I see a lot of people that, no, everybody does this. Rotate, which can cause the light to maybe accidentally fall. Instead of doing that, simply hold the light, make sure the light stand, the pole is loose, and then you just do this. And to put it back, you just do that. How much easier is that, right? Instead of like... And that's the end of my video. I hope you found the contents helpful. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the good stuff you guys do on YouTube. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comment section. I try my best to respond to everything that I see there. So once again, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.